Welcome. In this film, we'll explore some common causes of falls from heights. We'll also consider precautions that can prevent many of these falls. Illustrated transcripts are available on Kansas State University's Gen Ag 712 course website and through a link provided on our YouTube channel. Falls from heights include falls from roofs, ladders, scaffolds, equipment, stairs, and other elevations. These falls cause many on-the-job deaths. In fact, the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics reports that 12% of all work-related fatalities are due to falls from heights. To illustrate the human consequences, let's consider an actual incident that was reported by the National Institute for Occupational Safety and Health, or NIOSH. A farmer in Minnesota was using a pole barn as a shelter for beef cattle. In the roof, there were skylights made of translucent fiberglass panels. After a heavy snow, the farmer worried that the roof might collapse. He got on top of the barn, steadied himself with a rope that was attached to the roof, and pushed snow off the roof with his feet. While pushing away the snow, he accidentally stepped on one of the fiberglass panels. The panel broke under his weight. He crashed through, lost his grip on the rope, and fell about 16 feet to the floor inside the barn. He suffered massive injuries and he was killed as a result of the fall. This film will explore common ways workers fall from heights on the job. First, many deadly falls happen when workers are on roofs. Second, workers are often killed or injured in falls from ladders. Third, many serious incidents occur when workers fall from vehicles such as tractors, trucks, and aerial lifts. Fourth, falls from scaffolds are less common, but when they occur, there is a high risk of death. Fifth, many falls occur on stairways. Other, less common incidents include falls from structural steel and loading docks. In agriculture and food manufacturing, falls from trees, silos, and man lifts are also noteworthy. We'll begin by examining falls from roofs. The U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics reports that from 2003 to 2009, about 1/5 of all fatal workplace falls occurred on roofs. To illustrate how quickly these tragedies can occur, let's consider an incident reported by the Occupational Safety and Health Administration, or OSHA. Two workers were replacing damaged panels on the roof of a greenhouse. Suddenly, one of the workers slipped and began sliding down the roof. He fell to the ground and struck his head. He was rushed by ambulance to a medical center, but doctors were unable to save him. He died from injuries he sustained in the fall. Deaths such as this can be prevented by personal fall arrest systems as shown here. This system includes a body harness attached to a self-retracting lifeline. The lifeline is anchored to roof structures that can withstand the force of stopping a falling worker. The lifeline has a built-in shock absorber to limit injury if a worker is caught in mid-fall. The lifeline automatically plays out and reels in to eliminate slack. As long as there are no sudden movements, the lifeline extends smoothly. However, in the event of a quick jerk, an internal brake engages, arresting any fall that may be in progress. The self-retracting lifeline works much like the safety harness in a car, yielding to accommodate steady motions, but stopping immediately in the event of a tug. Besides personal fall arrest systems, other measures help protect workers on roofs. For instance, shoes should have slip-resistant tread, and work should take place when roofs are dry. Roof workers are protected further when they use scaffolds that have protective guardrails and level work platforms. Guardrails may be installed permanently on flat roofs to protect workers who service air conditioners and other rooftop equipment. Besides falling from the roof's edge, many workers have been killed after stepping or sitting on skylights and falling through. To prevent these falls, we can equip skylights with guards or railings to keep workers away. Rooftop fall protection can take many other forms, including safety nets and body positioning devices. More information is available in publications found on the websites of government safety and health agencies. Our next category of falls consists of falls from ladders. According to the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics, ladders were involved in about 1/6 of all fatal falls in American workplaces from 2003 to 2009. Non-fatal ladder falls are also common. To illustrate the human impact, we'll consider another incident reported by NIOSH. A farmer was climbing down a ladder on the side of a grain bin. The area was cramped, making the ladder hard to climb. About halfway down, the man slipped. He fell 10 to 12 feet and hit his head on a concrete pad below. He got up, conscious but stunned, and then laid down in a grassy area nearby. His son called 911 and the man was hospitalized. Sadly, his condition deteriorated and he died the next day from the head injuries he sustained in the fall. To help prevent deadly falls, ladders should have adequate room for climbing. Ladder rungs and footwear should also be clean and dry. Fixed ladders are sometimes equipped with safety cages. As documented by David Riches, however, it is not clear whether cages actually reduce the risk of serious injuries. Instead, stairs with railings and level landings are a safer choice. For added safety, guardrails can be installed where workers need access to hatches on the roofs of bins. Where guardrails are not present, workers may need personal fall arrest systems. Unfortunately, some bins do not have anchor points that are sturdy enough to arrest a fall. fixed ladders and stairs are not always available. In those situations, workers use portable ladders such as this extension ladder. The weight of a worker and his or her tools must not exceed the ladder's capacity. Otherwise, the ladder may collapse, causing the worker to fall. This ladder is rated as Type 1A extra heavy duty with a capacity of 300 pounds. Ladders may slide and fall unless their feet are set on solid, level, non-slippery surfaces. This ladder has slip-resistant feet. For added stability, the ladder's feet can be positioned to dig into the soil. The ladder's base can also be staked to the ground. For added stability, a ladder can be temporarily attached to its supporting structure. Ladder stability is affected by its angle, which depends on the height where the ladder is supported and the horizontal distance from the base of the ladder to the support. For maximum stability, the horizontal distance should be 1/4 the height of the support. As an example, if the ladder is supported 20 feet above ground, the base should be set at a horizontal distance of 5 feet, because 20 divided by 4 equals 5. To approximate this angle without measuring, stand straight with arms outstretched and toes touching the feet of the ladder. If the angle is correct, your hands will be at the right distance to grab the rungs. If workers will be climbing on and off at top, the ladder will need to extend above the landing. Specifically, the ladder should extend at least 3 feet so workers can hold the side rails while getting on and off. The ladder's side rails should always lean firmly against the supporting structure. Here, a stabilizer has been added to support the ladder above the aluminum gutter. It is dangerous to climb while holding tools and supplies. Instead, workers should wear tool pouches and use hoists for handling materials. Workers should climb while facing the ladder, avoid leaning to the sides, and use a 3-point climbing technique, always maintaining contact with either 2 feet and 1 hand or 1 foot and 2 hands. If the ladder is not attached to the structure, workers must take care to avoid knocking the ladder sideways when getting on and off at top. Similar principles apply to portable step ladders. To ensure the ladder is fully opened, lock the spreaders in place by pushing them down. Make sure the feet are set on a stable, level, non-slippery surface. Keep hands free for climbing by using tool belts or by placing items in containers attached to any hooks built in near the ladder's top. Face the ladder and climb using a 3-point technique. Avoid tipping by working directly in front and not leaning to the sides. To maintain balance, never climb higher than the second rung from top. Use barricades if necessary to keep people and vehicles from knocking over the ladder and causing workers to fall. Finally, before working near power lines, call the electric company to have electricity turned off. Only specially trained personnel are allowed to work near live power lines, and they must use electrically insulated tools as well as ladders with fiberglass or other non-conductive side rails. We've considered only a few of the precautions required to avoid falls from ladders. More information is available in publications on the websites of government agencies. Let's shift our attention now to falls from work vehicles. The U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics reports that workers suffer many serious and sometimes fatal falls from tractors, trucks, and other vehicles. To illustrate, we'll consider an incident reported by OSHA. A truck operator was attaching a hose to a nozzle on top of his tanker trailer. He was not using fall protection. Suddenly, he lost his balance and fell. He struck his head on the ground 11 feet below, and he was killed by the force of the impact. To prevent deadly falls, tanker trailers are increasingly being equipped with work platforms, guardrails, and personal fall arrest systems. Similarly, protective baskets and personal fall arrest systems protect workers at heights in aerial lift trucks. Truck brakes and outriggers provide added stability. Comparable precautions apply to scissor lifts and other mobile personnel platforms. Due to the risk of tipping, these vehicles should never be moved when the platform is raised. Finally, when climbing on or off any vehicle, workers should face the steps and use the handrails. Steps and footwear should also be free of slippery contaminants such as mud and ice. Our next category of falls consists of falls from scaffolds. Scaffolds can prevent falls by providing stable surfaces for working at heights. As reported by the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics, however, serious falls do occur when scaffolds are poorly built or improperly used. Poor scaffold design is illustrated in an incident investigated by OSHA. 2 workers were installing siding on a building. They were on a scaffold 24 feet above the ground. It had just stopped raining and the scaffold was wet. There were no guardrails and the workers did not have personal fall arrest systems. One of the workers stepped on a piece of wet siding. He slipped and fell from the scaffold. As he fell, he struck his head on a construction dumpster. Then he hit the ground. He was taken by ambulance to a hospital, but he died early the next morning from injuries sustained in the fall. His death could have been prevented if the scaffold had been equipped with guardrails or if he had used a personal fall arrest system. Let's consider how to design and build scaffolds to minimize the risk of falls. First, the scaffold's footing must be level and solid to prevent tipping or collapse. For added stability, the scaffold should be firmly attached to the building or other supporting structure. The work platform must be sturdy enough to support the weight of workers and materials. Special scaffold planking is used for this purpose. Fall protection is also important. In this case, railings are used. The top and mid rails keep workers from falling. The toe board helps keep tools and materials from being pushed over the edge and injuring people below. Covered walkways provide added protection for people on the ground. Access to scaffolds can be provided by temporary stairways, which tend to be safer than ladders. Materials can be lifted from the ground using hoists, eliminating any need for workers to carry large objects up and down. This work platform is known as a suspension scaffold. Its guardrails help keep the worker from falling. The worker is also using a personal fall arrest system. Here, the scaffold is suspended by special rigging attached to a crane that is mounted on a truck. The truck is parked on a level surface with outriggers lowered to help avoid tipping. For more information, many helpful scaffold safety publications are available on government websites. So far, we've considered falls from roofs, ladders, vehicles, and scaffolds. According to the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics, these sources account for well over half of all fatal falls in workplaces. Still, other sources of falls are worth mention. For instance, many injuries result from falls on stairs. We address stairway falls in detail in a separate video. Falls also occur from heights that are unique to certain workplaces, such as structural steel in construction, loading docks in warehousing and transportation, man lifts in grain storage and milling, silos in agriculture, and trees in forestry, landscaping, and biological professions. Let's briefly review what we've covered in this film. Many workers have been killed in falls from roofs. We protect workers on roofs with personal fall arrest systems, guardrails along roof edges, scaffolds with guardrails, and guards around skylights and other roof openings. Falls from ladders also account for many fatal and non-fatal injuries. Where possible, fixed ladders should be replaced with stairs that have standard railings and landings. When fixed ladders must be climbed, workers can use personal fall arrest systems. However, anchoring locations must be able to withstand the forces of arresting a fall. Portable ladders must be set up so they do not tip sideways or slip at top or bottom. Extension and straight ladders are most stable when set on solid, non-slippery surfaces at a 1:4 angle as shown here. For added stability, the base of the ladder can be staked to the ground. A stabilizer or fastenings can also be used at top. Workers should face the ladder while climbing and use a three-point technique with no tools or other objects in the hands. Step ladders should be set up solidly with the spreaders locked. Again, workers should face the ladder, use the three-point technique, and work in front of the ladder rather than leaning to the sides. Workers should climb no higher than the second rung from top. Only specially qualified personnel are allowed to work near live power lines, and they must use electrically insulated tools and ladders with fiberglass or other non-conductive side rails. Vehicles also account for many serious workplace falls. Injuries can be minimized by equipping vehicles with work platforms and guardrails, keeping equipment stationary while workers are elevated, using personal fall arrest systems, and by stabilizing vehicles with outriggers. In addition, workers should use the handrails and climb while facing the vehicle. Vehicle steps and footwear should also be clean and dry. Although well-built scaffolds help protect workers at heights, improper construction and risky worker behaviors can lead to death. Scaffolds must have level, firm bases. Upright components must be anchored to buildings or other solid structures. Special scaffold planking must be used to support workers and materials. Railings help keep workers from falling off the scaffold's edge, and personal fall arrest systems reduce the severity of injuries if falls do occur. Temporary stairways provide safer scaffold access compared with ladders. Hoists eliminate the need for manually carrying materials up and down. Suspended scaffolds should have secure riggings, guardrails, and personal fall arrest systems. Cranes used to suspend scaffolds must be level. Outriggers provide added stability. Falls occur from many other types of elevations. For instance, falls often happen on stairways, and we examine stairway falls in a separate film. Also worthy of note are falls from structural steel and loading docks. This concludes our video. The U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics reports that every year in America, falls from heights cause about 600 workplace deaths and 75,000 lost time injuries. Many of these tragedies can be avoided using guardrails, personal fall arrest systems, and other precautions such as those examined in this film.